Welcome to today's video. Today we've got a really special bike check. This is my Mondraker Crafty XR 2022. What an amazing bike this is. So today I'm going to take you through some of my components and tell you a little bit about the bike. So let's get into it. So let's start with some of the headline figures. This bike weighs in at just 25.5 kilos. Now, whilst that might not sound particularly light with some of the new lightweight bikes on the market, such as the Ebike Rise, it packs in a 750 watt-hour battery in the down tube, and it's actually a little bit lighter than some of the outgoing bikes that had the old Bosch system that had the smaller 625 watt-hour batteries. Now, touching on that battery, it's actually built into the down tube and it's non-removable. Now, this might be a little bit off-putting for some. However, what it's allowed Mondraker to do is build a significantly stronger bike. So this is a one-piece down tube and there are no holes, which then can lead to a little bit of flex in the frame or some weakness. So I mean, look at the girth on that down tube. It's super strong. Now, this bike sports Bosch's Gen 4 motor and their new smart system, which debuted in 2022. Now, the smart system replaces the old outgoing Puron and Kiox displays, and what it allows you to do is connect the bike to your phone, and it allows you to track some of your metrics, but it also allows you to change some of the power bands on the 4 different modes that Bosch provide. What really stood out about this bike was Mondraker's forward geometry. And Mondraker, one of the pioneers in the 2010s of the long, low and slack geometry that we see in today's bikes. Now, a lot of bike manufacturers have caught up, but this bike doesn't stray away from that. It is in a size large. It has a 490mm reach. It also has a 1270mm wheelbase with 455mm chainstays. So it's super long, it's super slack and super stable. Onto components, my favourite part. As you can see, the bike isn't exactly stock and I love customizing my bikes. So let's start with the important area, suspension. Earlier I touched on the 160mm Fox 38. This is running their lower fit grip damper rather than the top end grip 2 damper with Fox's Kashima stanchions, but they still perform phenomenally and are perfect for the everyday rider. Controls are simple with a low speed compression adjuster and the rebound adjuster. This makes the setup quite easy to get a good ballpark performance, but if you want more control, you will want the Grip 2 damper. In the rear, we have the Fox Flow X, which is a single tube shock and replaces the outgoing DPX2. This is Fox Enduro Focus shock, which is less burly than its big brother, which is the Fox Flow X2, but it's still more than capable when the going gets tough. On the controls, of course, you have a climb switch which changes to low speed compression from open to very firm, and this helps pedaling on those fire rate climbs. We also have a rebound adjuster controlling how quickly the shock recovers. Of course, with the front and rear, both can have additional volume spacers added to change the progression on the fork and shock through the stroke. On rubber, we have Continental tyres for ultimate grip in all conditions, especially when things get a bit moist in the winter. I've been running the new Gravity range since their release last April, and they were one of the top performing tyres on the World Cup circuit, with a few podiums from the likes of Bernard Kerr and the Atherton team riders Charlie Harrison and Andreas Kolb. Up front, I'm running the loose tyre, the Argotile, which is perfect for wet weather, but has amazing dry, loose dust performance. So whether you're out in the bush in Australia or the deep mud in the wet of Scotland, these tyres have you covered. It has wider space knobs to clear the mud better and is soft, compound and DH sidewall. At the back we have the Cryptotal R, which is Continental's mixed condition tyre. It just rolls a little bit faster than the Argotile but handles the wet very well and is geared about braking and rear end traction, making it the perfect all-round tyre. On braking we have the Hope Tech 3 V4s for ultimate e-bike stopping power with Galfa e-bike pads, which are my favourite compound. It has a good mix of power and longevity, and Hope have amazing pedigree when it comes to brakes. And whilst these aren't as powerful as the new Tech 4s, they still have what it takes to stop any rider ploughing on a heavy e-bike. Now to the drivetrain. I'm running the trusted Sram GX Eagle drivetrain, which offers excellent performance to price ratio. I'm using the e-bike shifter, which has a single click as opposed to multiple, to stop the mech being ripped off under heavy loads, especially as the motor has so much torque that puts a lot of strain on the mechs. Onto pedals, I'm using one of my favourites, which is the Nukeproof Horizon pedals. I've used them for a number of years on a number of bikes. They offer really good grip in all conditions. They really bite into the sole of your shoe and your feet really don't move. And they come in a range of colours. In this case, I've gone for red to match the bike. Finally, onto finishing kit. I'm still using the stock Mondraker kit that comes with the bike. The on-off bars, stem and grip work really well considering it's an in-house offering, and it's still using 31.8, but that's to get the stem down to 30mm as per Mondraker's forward geometry ethos. All in all, Mondraker have built an absolutely fantastic bike. It really fits the mantra of the long, low slack and stable geometry. As you're going into rough sections, the bike is super balanced, and I really love the feeling and the confidence the bike gives you as you go through those sections. Now, I'm a person that loves to plow into the rough stuff. I'm not someone that sort of pops over rocks and roots. I like to feel my suspension working, as you know, after all, I do pay for it. And this bike really gives you that confidence in those areas. At the back, the kinematics is super progressive, so really the bike sits quite high into its travel. When you get deeper in there, there's a lot of support, and it also protects you from bottoming out, and that's another thing that I love about the bike. They are quite heavy e-bikes, so that's the kind of things that you want from a bike, and Mondraker have really hit the nail on the head when it comes to building a bike. Of course, being the owner of the bike, I'd highly recommend it. No one says they have a bike that they don't really like, but I really think that for riders wanting to push on, it gives them that confidence, and Mondraker have done, again, an absolutely amazing job with the strength and the look of the bike, the sleek lines, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop this frame over the coming years.